lawyer and former presidential spokesperson of the Philippines, Harry Roque. Now, Harry, I'm glad to have you join me now. So, Duterte's... Thank you. So, Duterte's counsel argued that the case against his client rested on, quote, political demagoguery, and that during the legal proceedings, there have been attempts to influence political outcomes. What do you think about this?
The Philippine president has always maintained that the ICC no longer has jurisdiction over the Philippines because we had withdrawn, and that the prosecutor started the preliminary investigation on the second year after the deposit of instrument of ratification, when the duty to cooperate after withdrawing should be complied with only if jurisdiction of the court is triggered within a period of 1 year after the instrument of withdrawal. No? This is a legal defense because either the court has jurisdiction or it does not have jurisdiction. And we all know that the jurisdiction of the court, being a court created by virtue of treaty, rests on states' consent freely given. And in the case of the Philippines, as in the case of Russia and Israel, the Philippines had already withdrawn. And at the time the preliminary investigation was authorized, we were no longer a member, and hence no obligation to cooperate and recognize the jurisdiction of the ICC. That has been the consistent position of the president, the former president. And he has said that he has accepted his peace within his cell, knowing that the court has no jurisdiction. He does not recognize the jurisdiction of the court. And he says that even if he is locked away in faraway Hague, his heart and soul remain with the Filipino people in the Philippines.
All right. Now, the council argued that the current administration previously refused to cooperate with the ICC, like you have said, but suddenly changed its stance. Now, why do you think that happened? What are the chances of actual political interference in the trial?
We're finding out that the earlier statements of Marcos Jr., who, as you know, is a drug addict, is all a lie, because while he was saying that they would not cooperate with the ICC, we now have information indicating that he has, in fact, extended full support to the ICC, which negates what he has said. And the reason for this, I think, is Marcos, it's in his genes to want to stay in office forever. And I think the plan is this time around, they will not allow the people to remove them from power, and that means destroying the biggest threat to their political reign, and that is the Duterte family.
Okay, so Duterte's counsel described his client as a unique phenomenon in Philippine politics, as he used controversial methods to uphold public order. What do you make of that assessment?
I myself did not start as a Duterte supporter, but I was won over by his unconventional ways. He's very refreshing in his ways. He has none of these polished speeches. He has only raw sincerity. And I think that's what won the people's heart. The fact that he is for real. He knows how the people feel, and is able to address the aspirations of the people. He truly is a unique leader, which explains why, when he left office, he enjoyed unprecedented approval rating of 80%, a feat that no other president has achieved in Philippine history.
Now, supporters point out that other global leaders, including Benjamin Netanyahu, remain in power despite serious allegations. Why is the ICC so determined to hold trial against Duterte, when individuals like the Israeli Prime Minister have not faced similar scrutiny?
In the 2024 Assembly of State Parties of the International Criminal Court, discussion had already begun whether or not the court should continue, because they have no cases in their dockets. They do have many individuals who have been issued warrants of arrest, including Netanyahu and President Putin, but they don't have the means to apprehend them, and therefore don't have the means to proceed with trial against them. Now, Duterte is an existential issue for the ICC. It is their justification to continue to exist as a court, and that is why my prediction is, regardless of guilt or innocence, they will proceed against Duterte because they feel that it is better to have an ICC to afford remedies to victims of the most heinous crimes, even at the expense of the individual fundamental human right of Duterte.
Now, does this reinforce concerns that the ICC disproportionately targets leaders from smaller or even developing nations?
Well, this is a unique case because it was Marcos Jr. himself who kidnapped and surrendered him to the ICC's jurisdiction. No? There was absolutely no cooperation because the records will indicate that there hasn't even been any request for cooperation made by the ICC. And yet, in order to eliminate the Duterte as a political opponent, they went ahead and pre-chartered a private jet that brought him to the ICC without compliance with the requirement of the ICC itself, their own statute, that he should have been brought first before a local court before being extradited to The Hague. It was a clear and simple case of kidnapping.
All right. Now, recently, Mr. Duterte's daughter, Vice President Sara Duterte, announced her candidacy for the 2028 election, even as activists have filed several impeachment motions against her. But how do you rate her election chances?
It's ironical that while the Marcoses sent Duterte to The Hague, they thought that would destroy the Dutertes as a political threat. The contrary has since happened. And the worst thing for the Marcoses now is for Duterte to die in prison, because that will absolutely guarantee the election of Sara Duterte as president, even if they resort to the worst forms of cheating and the worst form of vote buying. I think if something happens to the life of President Duterte while in jail, that seals the fate of Sara Duterte as the next president of the Philippines, no matter what.
All right. But we have to leave you here now. Harry Roque, lawyer and former presidential spokesperson of the Philippines. Thank you so much for your time.
It's been a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's the news right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again at top of the hour.